Okay, right now I'm going to go through 4.2b, two-step equations with fractions and decimals. And again, I'm going to go through it quickly. I know that you're going to have a lot of instruction on this in class, and we're going to do a lot of practice before the big test. So this is just a quick introduction into how to solve these kinds of problems. All right, so first we're doing two-step equations with fractions and decimals. Well, if I look at this problem right here, I see right away that there are fractions. And I'm pretty sure that you'll be taught how to do this this trick, and the whole explanation will be done in class, but this is kind of what you do. When you see a problem that has the same denominator, and in this case it's 3, what you simply can do is multiply the whole problem by 3. And in this case, it'd be 3 over 1 for the fraction, which would leave this here with 2 over 1v, which is the same as 2v. Now, that might seem a little complicated. Let's look at it one more time. If you multiply 3 times 2/3, and let's say I just tried that on my calculator, 3 times 2/3, I would get 2. So that would be 2v. And then there's my equal sign. 3 times 2 is 6, and 3 times 4/3 is going to be 4. See, this cancels out that 3. It will also cancel out this 3 by multiplying it. So I have 2v, 3 times 2 is 6, and then that 4 goes there. So one more time, take another quick look at it. Look what happens. Let me erase all that. Hold on. Oh, hold up. Okay. All right, here we go. If I multiply this all by 3, messing with my pen here, that will cancel that 3 and make that a 2v. 3 times 2 is 6. And if I multiply this by 3, that will cancel out that 3, which would give me 4. Now look what I have. I have a 6 minus 4, which is 2. And now I have a one-step equation, 2v equals 2. Well, what do I want to do? I want to find my equal sign, isolate the variable, divide by 2, because this is multiplication right here, so divide by 2 on both sides, and v would equal 1. And v will equal 1. All right, let's try the next one. What do you notice about this problem? Do you notice they all have 5s for denominators? Well, if they do, we can multiply the whole problem by 5. That'll cancel out that 5, cancel out that 5, and cancel out that 5. Now I'm left with 3f minus 4 equals 2. Man, I really wish I would have known that trick when I was your guys' age. All right, so now I have an equal sign here. There's my variable, so I know I need to start on this side of the equation. To do a two-step equation, I want to start with addition, subtraction. I'm going to do the opposite of 4, or minus 4 plus 4. The opposite of subtract 4 is going to be plus 4 on both sides. That cancels out, and I'm left with 3f equals 6. Now I have multiplication. The opposite of multiplication is division, so I'm going to divide by 3. Divide by 3, that turns into 1f, and 6 divided by 3 is 2. Well, that was pretty easy with fractions, if we have the common denominator at the bottom. All right, let's look at the decimals now. Decimals, same thing we've been doing. Here's my equal sign, here's my variable, so I need to start on this side of the equation. I'm going to start with this piece that's by itself, and that's a positive 4.5. What's the opposite of positive 4.5? Negative 4.5. Oops. And I do that on both sides, or minus 4.5 on both sides of the equation. This cancels out, and 6.1 minus 4.5 is going to be 1.6. And I still over here have 0.2p. Notice how I lined up my decimals right there. Okay, now the operation happening here is multiplication. The opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide by 0.2 on both sides of the equation. This cancels out. So p equals, with 16 divided by 2 is 8. And I believe it will be 0.8. And I'm going to check that in my calculator, or I could do the math work. I'm just going to check in my calculator. 1.6 divided by 0.2 is, actually it's not 0.8, it is 8. So now let's check that. 1.6 divided by 0.2. The decimal, move the decimal. 2 goes into 16 8 times. Yep, so you have to be careful with that decimal. Even I was about to make that little mistake where I went like that because I saw this 0.2. That is not correct. You need to check it with a calculator or check it by doing division. All right, here we go. Equal sign, there's my variable. So I need to start on this side of the equation. I see this plus 3.2, so I'm going to do the opposite. Subtract 3.2 on both sides of the equation. This goes away. 1.5d equals, I'm going to subtract these, 0.6.0. Okay, now divide by 1.5. Divide by 1.5. I know that this is going to be a 4 because there's 4 15-minute increments in 60 minutes. I know it's going to be 4, but I have got to be careful about my decimals. So I'm going to check with my calculator. 6 divided by 1.5 is 4. If I needed to go 6 divided by 1.5, move this over once, move a decimal over once here, fill up a 0, and 15 goes into 60 4 times. All right, so let's check this one. Last problem. Here's my equal sign. And I notice, look at this, I have 2 variables on this side of the equation. So that means I can combine them. This is a 1z and this is a 4z. 1z and 0.4. If I combine those together, this is what we've been doing all this time with algebra. 1 and 0.4 is going to be 1.4z. And then I'm going to write minus 0.5 equals 3.7. Okay, now I have my two-step equation. Here's my z right there. So I'm going to do the opposite of this. Plus 0.5 plus 0.5 on both sides of the equation. This is going to cancel out. So this right here is going to be 12, 4.2. So now I have, on this side of the equation, I have 1.4z equals 4.2. So now, what operation's happening there? Multiplication, the opposite of multiplication is division. So divide by 1.4, divided by 1.4. This cancels out. So z equals, what is 4.2 divided by 1.4? 4.2 divided by 1.4. Move the decimal over, move the decimal over. So 14 goes into 42 3 times evenly. So this would be 3. And that's it. So that took us a little while to explain because we had to do some explanations with the fractions, but that's straight up how we do those problems. So I want to look at them again really fast. I'm going to zip through these just to refresh our minds. I see the two denominators are 3. So if I multiply the whole piece of the equation here by 3, it cancels out that 3, that 3. 2v equals 2 minus 4. Combine these, that equals 6. This is multiplication. The opposite of multiplication is division. Divide by 2, divide by 2, v equals 3. I'm wrong. I was going too fast. Two minus 4 is 2. Divide by 2, divide by 2, v equals 1. Sorry about that, but I like that you get to see some of my mistakes because it might be the same mistake you make. Maybe you don't make mistakes and only I do. That's okay too. All right, I see they're all 5s. I'm going to multiply all of these pieces by 5. That gets rid of my fractions. It's like magic. So this is now 3f minus 4 equals 2. Here's my equal sign. Here's my variable. Plus 4 on both sides. 3f equals 6. This is multiplication. The opposite of multiplication is division. So divide by 3 on both sides. F equals 2. There it is. Okay, I'm going to start over here. Minus 4.5 minus 4.5. That cancels out. This turns into 1.6. This right here is multiplication. The opposite of multiplication is divide by 0.2. Divide by 0.2. P equals 8. Hi, kitty. Hi. Say hi. Hi. Say hi. Say something. Come on. Say hi. Hey. Say hi. Oh, she's not listening. Okay. Minus 3.2. Minus 3.2. That goes away. This is 6. 1.5d. This right here is multiplication. The opposite of multiplication is division. Divide by 1.5, divide by 1.5. D equals, I'm going to double check it, 4. Equal sign, variable, variable. Have to notice that. This is a 1z and a 4z, or 0.4z. That will give me a 1.4 z minus 0.5 equals 3.7. Okay. Plus 0.5 plus 0.5. I'm going with my solo numbers to begin with. Addition, subtraction first. Add this together. 4.2. 1.4 z. This right here is multiplication. The opposite of multiplication is division. So divide by 1.4. Divide by 1.4. Cancels out. Z equals, yes, I'm using my calculator, 3. All right. That was the faster version, except for I got distracted by the cat, who won't talk to me. All right, good luck.